The art and power of storytelling. Welcome to today's video, where we will be diving into one of the most powerful tools you can have as a man in today's world, storytelling. In a moment, I'm going to share with you the secrets to captivating any audience, whether you're speaking to a small group of friends, a boardroom full of executives, or your online followers. Storytelling is not just an art, it's a skill that can change your life, from how you network to how you lead, and to how you build deeper relationships in your personal and professional life. Now, before you think storytelling is only for writers or public speakers, let me set the record straight. Every one of us is telling stories all the time, whether we realize it or not. We share our experiences, dreams, ideas, and emotions in the form of stories, every single day. The difference between someone who can captivate an audience and someone who doesn't is how effectively they tell those stories. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how you can start telling compelling, engaging, and unforgettable stories, no matter your background or experience. We'll talk about the key elements that make a story impactful, the common mistakes most people make, and I'll share with you real-life experiences that helped me master the art of storytelling. And most importantly, I'll share with you the #1 secret that I wish I knew when I first started learning how to craft stories that command attention. It's a game-changing piece of advice that will completely elevate how you engage with others. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, because trust me, you don't want to miss this. Storytelling is one of the oldest human traditions. Since the dawn of civilization, we've gathered around fires, sat in circles, and shared tales to teach, entertain, and bond. We remember stories more than we remember facts, and we respond to them emotionally. It's no coincidence that the best leaders, politicians, and entrepreneurs are often the best storytellers. But storytelling is more than just the ability to entertain. It's about connection. When you share a story, you're not just communicating facts, you're sharing a piece of your soul. You're showing vulnerability, authenticity, and most importantly, humanity. And that's what draws people in. Whether you're selling a product, trying to influence someone, or simply getting to know someone on a deeper level, storytelling is the bridge that connects you to others. It makes your message memorable, it makes your presence magnetic, and it creates an emotional impact that facts and figures alone can't achieve. Let me take you back to the beginning, when I first started learning the art of storytelling. I was just getting into the world of personal development and self-improvement, trying to figure out how to build my own presence and influence. I remember going to social events, trying to connect with people, but realizing that my conversations often fell flat. I was good at making small talk, but I wasn't making any meaningful connections. The stories I told didn't hold anyone's attention. People would nod politely, but they wouldn't engage. I realized I had to do something different. One night, at a networking event, I met a man who completely changed my perspective. This guy had the ability to hold a room's attention with a single story. He was charismatic, engaging, and everyone in the room seemed to gravitate toward him. I was in awe of how effortlessly he told his stories. They weren't elaborate, but they were filled with emotion, humor, and vivid imagery. That night, I decided I had to learn how to tell stories like that. I started studying storytelling techniques, watching TED Talks, reading books, and analyzing how great speakers communicated their messages. I realized that storytelling wasn't just an innate talent, it was a skill that could be developed. So what makes a story truly captivating? It comes down to 5 key elements. The hook. A great story starts with a hook. This is the part of the story that grabs your audience's attention right from the beginning. It's that moment that makes people say, "I want to hear more." It could be a shocking statement, an intriguing question, or a mysterious situation. The hook sets the stage for everything that comes after. The conflict. Every story needs conflict. This is where the tension builds. Whether it's a struggle between characters, an internal conflict, or a challenge to overcome, the conflict keeps the audience engaged and invested in the outcome. Without conflict, there's no story, just a list of events. The resolution. This is the part of the story where the conflict is resolved and the lessons learned are revealed. A powerful resolution provides clarity, closure, and gives the audience a sense of satisfaction. It's where you show what you learned, how you grew, or how things changed as a result of the conflict. Emotion. A story without emotion falls flat. People connect to stories through emotion. Whether it's humor, sadness, excitement, or fear, your audience should feel something. If your story can make people laugh, cry, or think deeply, you've won half the battle. Emotion brings your story to life. Relatability. Finally, your story needs to be relatable. People remember stories that resonate with their own experiences, values, and emotions. The more they can see themselves in your story, the stronger the connection you'll build with them. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to speak at a conference. It was a huge event, and I was nervous. I knew the stakes were high. I wanted to make a lasting impression, and I wanted people to walk away with something valuable. I spent weeks preparing, practicing my speech, and making sure I had the structure down. But something felt off. I had all the right information, but it wasn't resonating the way I hoped. That's when I decided to change my approach. I took the advice of one of my mentors and decided to rewrite the speech, turning it into a story. Instead of presenting a list of strategies, I told the story of my own struggles, how I had faced adversity, failed, and learned valuable lessons along the way. I incorporated the 5 key elements: the hook, the conflict, the resolution, emotion, and relatability. And when I finally delivered that story, the response was incredible. People came up to me after the speech, telling me how my story had impacted them. They shared their own experiences, and I was able to connect with them on a deeper level than ever before. Now here's the #1 secret that transformed my storytelling ability. Focus on the journey, not the destination. Let me explain. Early in my journey of learning how to tell captivating stories, I made a critical mistake that many people make when they first begin. I was overly focused on achieving a perfect conclusion. I thought storytelling was about having a neat ending, where everything wrapped up in a satisfying way, with a clear moral or lesson at the end. But I realized that the most powerful and engaging stories aren't necessarily about how they end. They're about how they unfold. The magic is in the journey itself. Think about your own life for a moment. The moments that stand out most to you, the moments that have shaped who you are today, are likely the times when you faced adversity, struggle, or doubt. It's in those moments of tension that you learned, grew, and transformed. That's where your audience can relate. They see the struggle, they see the challenge, and they understand that just like them, you didn't have all the answers right away. But through perseverance, you grew, and through those tough moments, you became better. This is where the real power of storytelling comes in. It's vulnerability. It's not about telling a perfect story with a flawless ending. It's about being honest, about showing the real highs and lows of the experience. When you reveal your imperfections, your audience will trust you more. They will see that you are human just like them, and that's when the real connection happens. Another aspect of focusing on the journey is transformation. A story without transformation is static. It doesn't inspire. What makes a story powerful is the change that occurs within the protagonist, and by extension, within the audience. Think of your story not just as a recounting of events, but as a demonstration of growth. People are more likely to connect with your story if they can see your transformation, whether that's a shift in perspective, a new skill you acquired, or a lesson you learned the hard way. Take a moment to think about some of the best stories you've heard. They probably didn't just end with, and everything worked out perfectly. What you remember are the moments where the protagonist struggled, changed, and became someone different because of what they went through. That's the real essence of storytelling, the emotional impact that comes from seeing someone go through a process of growth. Here's the truth. People don't need perfection. In fact, perfection can alienate people. It can make them feel like they're not capable of achieving the same level of success. But progress, real, raw, tangible progress, is something everyone can relate to. Your audience isn't interested in hearing about a perfect success story that glosses over the hard work and the struggle. What they want is the story of how you overcame challenges and kept going, despite the odds. The key is to focus on the process and the journey. Talk about the setbacks you faced, the tough decisions you had to make, the doubts you had to overcome, and most importantly, the person you became through it all. That's what makes a story memorable. That's what will captivate any audience. Lastly, another reason why focusing on the journey is so crucial is because the journey is where you can introduce the unexpected. When you tell a story, Don't be afraid to add an element of surprise or unpredictability. It's the unexpected twists and turns that keep people on the edge of their seats, that make them want to know what happens next. The key takeaway here is that the most powerful stories are the ones that focus on the journey, the real struggles, the growth, the transformation, and the unexpected moments. The perfect conclusion is important, but it's the process, the experience, that makes a story unforgettable. So when you craft your stories, don't just think about the end. Think about the highs and lows, the challenges, and the transformation that occurs along the way. Focus on the journey, and your audience will be captivated from start to finish. Remember, the best stories don't come from perfection. They come from the progress you make, the mistakes you learn from, and the growth you experience. That's what truly connects us as humans. If you want to take your storytelling to the next level, I encourage you to check out the tools in the description below, including ebooks and courses that dive deeper into these techniques. Enroll in the Titan Toolbox to start your journey toward becoming a true Titan of storytelling. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, and stay up to date with all the latest content. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, where we'll continue our journey of growth and self-improvement.